Have you ever noticed how your savings account always ends up hovering around the same number? Like, no matter how many times you tell yourself, this month is different, you check the balance and boom, 6,800, 7,200, maybe 7,450 if you've had a couple no-spend weekends. Then something happens. Your car needs tires, your cousin's wedding pops up, your phone screen cracks, and suddenly you're right back at 2,000. It's weirdly consistent. It's almost like your money has a thermostat setting. My name is Dave, and I spend way too much time thinking about why everyday people make perfectly rational financial decisions that somehow lead to terrible financial outcomes. And if you're someone who keeps trying to escape paycheck to paycheck land, and you've been stuck at the same savings number for years, this video is for you. Here's the thing. Most people don't actually plateau at zero. That's a myth. Most people plateau at a number that's just enough to feel safe, but not enough to change anything. And in most countries, especially the US, that number ends up being right around $7,000. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dave, that seems oddly specific. Why 7,000, not 3 or 10? Great question. Let's unpack this. First, the 7,000 plateau isn't random. It's tied directly to the cost of a modern financial emergency. Major car repairs now cost anywhere from $500 to $2,500. A single ER visit without insurance costs around $2,700. A last-minute plane ticket for family emergencies, $700 to $1,200. Replacing a broken phone, $900 to $1,000. So for most people, $500 to $7,500 is the amount where you can say, okay, I'm not going to die if something goes wrong. And here's what most people don't realize. Money in that range acts like a pressure release valve. Once you hit it, the brain relaxes, and when the brain relaxes, saving slows down dramatically. There's this concept behavioral economists call relief spending. Relief spending is what happens when you've been financially stressed for months, and the moment you finally get some breathing room, you reward yourself. It's not irresponsible, it's human. So you save, you relax, you spend, an emergency hits, you drain the account, and the cycle repeats. This cycle is so predictable that most Americans cannot pay a $1,000 emergency without going into debt, not because they're broke, but because they never push past the psychological comfort zone. All right, let's hit the math. Let's say you make $55,000 a year after taxes, around $3,650 a month take home. You manage to save $400 a month. That's $4,800 per year. So in theory, 2 years should get you close to 10 grand. But that's not what actually happens. In reality, year 1, emergency wipes out 2,000, you end at 2,800. Year 2, you climb back to 7,600, relax, spend a little, drop to 6,000. Then car tires or a dental bill hits, down to 4,800. Every time you get close to leveling up, something resets the bar. Now, you might be thinking, so Dave, are you saying people are just bad with money? No, actually the opposite. People plateau at 7,000 because they're doing the rational thing. When you don't have generational financial trust, when you don't have parents you can call for 5 grand when life goes sideways, you must keep a safety buffer. That buffer is survival, it's not optional. But here's the twist. Safety buffers are not wealth-building tools. They keep you alive, but they don't move you forward. There's a number where money stops being about emergencies and starts being about options. That number is usually around $20,000 to $30,000 for single people and about $40,000 to $60,000 for families, depending on location. Why? Because that's when you can move cities, switch careers, quit a toxic job, take time off, start a small business, float yourself during a skill transition, or make meaningful investments. Below $7,000, money is about protection. Above $20,000, money becomes about leverage. Those are two different psychological worlds, and only a small portion of adults ever enter the second world. Let's challenge a common assumption. People think their problem is not saving enough, but that's not the real issue. The real issue is that most people only have one financial system, a checking account for spending, and maybe a savings account as an emergency buffer. That's it. That system can get you to 7,000, but it cannot get you to 50,000, because a 2-bucket system forces money to do one job at a time. Wealthy people have multi-bucket systems, emergency fund for survival, opportunity fund for skill transitions, relocation, business experiments, investment fund for long-term compounding, short-term sinking funds for planned expenses, operating cash for day-to-day life. These buckets allow money to serve multiple time horizons, which is why the wealthy don't stagnate. The average person never learns this, so everything gets mixed together, and the 7,000 plateau becomes inevitable. So what actually breaks the plateau? Not budgeting harder, not cutting lattes. The real unlock is shifting from emergency mindset to investment mindset. Emergency mindset asks, how do I avoid harm? Investment mindset asks, how do I create leverage? Those lead to completely different behaviors. Emergency mindset version of saving, hold on to every dollar in case something bad happens. Investment mindset version of saving, allocate dollars to things that increase future income. So instead of hoarding $7,500 forever, you might spend $1,200 on a certification that increases your income, $600 on equipment for a side business, $300 on relocation research to move to a higher paying market, $2,000 on coaching or mentorship, or invest $200 a month into index funds. Most people don't realize this, but you can't save your way out of the 7,000 plateau. You have to invest your way out. All right, let's make this actionable. Here are 3 steps that consistently break the 7,000 plateau. Step 1. Separate survival from opportunity. If your savings account has to do 2 jobs, emergencies and future growth, it will always fail at one. Create 2 separate buckets. Emergency fund target $7,500. Opportunity fund target $10,000 or more. Once your emergency fund is full, you stop contributing. You never mix the money. Suddenly, spending from your opportunity fund isn't scary, it's strategic. Step 2. Increase the earnings ceiling, not the savings floor. Frugal optimization caps out fast. You can cut maybe $300 a month before your life becomes miserable, but income growth has no ceiling. If you earn $600 a month more from a certification, a side business, freelancing, switching industries, skill stacking, or commission-based work, then your emergency fund fills twice as fast and your opportunity fund becomes real. Step 3. Convert money into compounding engines. Most people get stuck here. They treat saved dollars like museum artifacts instead of fuel. Compounding engines include index funds, skill investments, small service businesses, relocation moves, and career pivots into high-skill fields. The goal isn't to hold money forever. The goal is to deploy it wisely. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Dave, what if I lose the money? You're already losing money. It's just slow. Savings lose 3 to 8% of value per year through inflation. Or, I don't know what skill to invest in. Pick any skill that increases your earnings ceiling. Sales, copywriting, design, analytics, cloud, data, project management. They all work. Or, I'm waiting until I feel ready. You won't. No one at 7,000 in savings ever feels ready. Readiness is a myth. Action is the filter. When you grow up without a financial safety net, holding cash feels like oxygen. Letting it go feels terrifying. But the 7,000 plateau isn't a financial failure. It's a sign you're ready for the next level. You already proved you can survive. Now you have to prove you can build. And that starts when you stop asking, how do I avoid going backwards? And start asking, how do I create leverage so I never go backwards again? So if you're stuck at that $5,000 to $8,000 mark year after year, you're not alone. You don't need more discipline. You don't need more guilt. You need a new system and a new mindset. If this helped you out, hit that like button. It actually tells YouTube to show this to more people. Subscribe if you want more deep dives on the psychology and math of money. And drop a comment if you want me to break down specific skills that create the fastest income lift, because that's a whole separate video. My name's Dave. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.